Hey everyone, it's your boy Victor back with an analysis video. The Dragon Prince is releasing its newest and last season this Thursday, December 19th, and I want to talk about how scary Erebos is as a villain and some of my predictions for the last season.
Alright, now for most of this video, I'll be covering the scene where Erebos killed the Sun Dragon King, Sol Regem. Now first off, in the scene itself, Erebos' final words to Sol Regem were scary, man. We learned previously that Sol Regem snitched on his daughter for accidentally introducing magic to humans. This resulted in Erebos' daughter's death, so yeah, Erebos hated his guts, to say the least. In order to torment his adversary, Erebos offered the dying Sol Regem a hint of mercy, the truth. However, as we saw in a previous episode with Callum in a skyscraper tower, sometimes people simply cannot handle truth and it will shut down as a result. The truth for Sol Regem was that he was the one that killed Aethne Solaris' mate. And, well, just look at Erebos' face here. He is so enjoying this. In fact, turn the audio on the clip real quick.
Choke on your own pride, on your arrogance. So dies the Sun King.
Isn't that scary as fuck? I wouldn't want me that guy's revenge list, that's for sure. However, this is just the tip of the iceberg. What's absolutely terrifying is how he got this position in the first place. Originally, Sol Regem was supposed to join in on Kalim's rebellion against his sister, Queen Janai. However, since Sol Regem is blind, he had to be guided to the battlefield by Pharos. And Pharos got possessed by Erebos, and he had him attack Katalis. This eventually resulted in Viren's death as he sacrificed himself to save everyone, which, side note, was such an epic scene, man. One of the things I loved about Season 6 was that we got more backstory into Viren and finally completed his character arc, and what an arc it was, man. Whoo boy. Definitely gotta do a video on him. Anyway, with Viren's death, Claudia, she lost her direction, her purpose, and Erebos gave it to her. She could help him, as she always intended to. Together, they would make things right. Are you starting to see what I mean by that Erebos is scary? Erebos is the one that's ultimately responsible for killing Viren. Yet, he got Claudia to help him return his Adia. And don't worry guys, it only gets worse from here. Remember how Erebos possessed Pharos in order for this to all happen? If you look all the way back in Season 3, Episode 7, or more than 2 years series time, you can see how Erebos accomplishes this. In this episode, Viren and Erebos attack the Sunfire Elf stronghold in order to seize their Sunseed. During this attack, Erebos infects Pharos via his caterpillar vessel that Viren helped create. Now, we are left with a very important question. Did Erebos infect Pharos in particular because he knew he'd be Sol Regem's guide years later? If so, how the hell could he have possibly known that? Ultimately, it's the answer to this question that makes or breaks Cunning Villain. There are generally 3 answers to this question. First option, Erebos had no way of knowing and things simply worked out for him. Honestly, this is an example of bad writing and is honestly a pretty common mistake for characters like Erebos. Second option, Erebos actually can't see into the future, or at least possible futures. In this case, this is a viable option as seeing into the future is confirmed to be one of the powers of the Star Arcanum. Last option, Erebos is simply an opportunist and is able to grasp onto any advantage he sees. Ultimately, I think Erebos fits both options 2 and 3, which make him just that much scarier. Let's start with option 2 first, for seeing the future. From the Skyscraper Tower arc of Season 6, we learn of the Celestial Elves. The Celestial Elves are blindfolded since birth, and only take their blindfold off on a clear, moonless night. So the only light they ever see is pure starlight. When they gaze upon the heavens at that moment, some might unlock the ultimate connection to the cosmos, achieving enlightenment and becoming what they call time blind. The time blind sees the past, present, and future fluidly as one. Previously, there were blizzards on moonless nights for 300 years, as a result of Luna Tenebris' pet, Esmeralda's grief at her master's disappearance. After Rayla and Callum fulfilled the prophecy of the 2 chosen ones, Cosmos also became a time blind, and we can see how Cosmos foresaw a future where he told Callum that the Erebos' prism he brought was a fake. Callum, as a result of this, shuts down, and we learn that the truth isn't always a good thing. Before telling someone the truth, ask yourself, can that person handle the truth? Cosmos decided to lie, and Callum eventually breaks free of Erebos' grasp as a result of this. Side note, I absolutely love the Skyscraper arc. I'm definitely going to want to do a video at one point about it. I think it's very interesting that Callum, the Destiny is a book you write yourself guy, broke free from Erebos' control by following a prophecy laid out by someone else. To be honest, one of the things I'm excited about in this final season the most is learning more about the Star Touch Elves of the Cosmic Order and how Callum would interact with them. To be honest, the Cosmic Order remind me of the Celestial Court from Journey to the West. While I admit I haven't actually read Journey to the West, I've kind of heard enough about it to kind of make a comparison. Like the Cosmic Order, the Celestial Court stay in the heavens or the stars without caring for the mortals down below. They also heavily adhere to the concept of destiny, and anyone that dares stray from their destiny will be punished severely, like Sun Wukong was. We can see this comparison in the way that Erebos' daughter was treated. She accidentally allowed humans to stray from their original destiny by attaining the ability to use magic. The Cosmic Order executed her for his transgression, even though she was just a child, and she didn't have any malicious intention behind it. Erebos, he's the main villain Dragon Prince, and we know he definitely wants revenge on the Cosmic Order. We just don't know how he'll achieve it. There was a huge gap of time from when Erebos finished grieving for his daughter and decided on revenge to when he was finally in prison, and we don't know what he did other than, inciting violence and war among everyone. Another one of the things I'm looking forward to in the final season is what Erebos' plans are for the Cosmic Order and how and why Callum will stop him. After all, according to the Cosmic Order, humans shouldn't do magic, yet Callum is literally a mage. If their past behavior is an indication, the Cosmic Order will probably try to kill Callum, and Callum will resist, of course. After all, he's the Destiny's a book you write yourself guy. Like I said, we know seeing the future through star primal magic is possible through Cosmos, yet it seems the way Cosmos saw the future and the way the Cosmic Order did is different. The only thing we know the Cosmic Order predicted is that when humanity acquires magic, it will spell disaster. They had no idea when or how it would happen, only that it would happen. It was only through Sol Regum that they learned of Erebos' daughter's actions. This suggests that the Star Touch Elves are like all oracles in fiction. Their predictions are very vague. All they can predict is a terrible final result and who might cause it. How and why it happens is a complete mystery. This is very different from Cosmos, who saw an alternate timeline of what could have happened if he told Callum the truth. I personally think the reason for this divide is that Cosmos is ultimately a mortal elf with a mortal lifespan that resides in the mortal realm of Xadia, while the Cosmic Order are functionally immortal or at the very least can live for a very long time. It's not very clear yet about that. And they stay in the stars. Because the Star Touch Elves are a higher life form, I'm guessing there must be restrictions for that. We can see from the spell Claudia used to create Erebos' body that it isn't exactly easy for Star Touch Elves to actually travel to Xadia. I think it's this very disconnect from Xadia that prevents them from seeing individual futures, and instead they look at the big picture. And of course, since the big picture, it'll be vague. Another explanation is that the Star Touch Elves simply disdain from looking into the futures of individual lives in Xadia, but honestly, I like the previous explanation better. Now, since Erebos spent so much time in Xadia, it is possible he acquired the ability to foresee an individual's future, but honestly, I'm more inclined to believe that at best, he can predict the general future. And the details of his plans involve option 3, him being an opportunist. Alright, now we're on to option 3, and there's one quote of Erebos' that to me confirms that he's an opportunist. It's when Claudia needed a Quasar Diamond, and Erebos said, "I always have a contingency." This statement negates option 1, and in my opinion, allows me to say that Erebos is a very well written character. Erebos considered the fact that he might be exposed, and installed a Quasar Diamond into his staff that he later gets to Zeard, the first human dark mage, and it was passed throughout the generations until it landed into Viren's and then Claudia's hands. In fact, we can see in this scene when Viren reassures Claudia that he had to overthrow Azran because only he could make the decisions that were necessary. Viren's conversation with Erebos after is honestly one of my favorite scenes in this entire show.
Well played. She will be a valuable asset.
She is not an asset. She is my daughter.
Previously, it seemed that Viren lost himself in his quest for power, but Through this scene, we see that Viren still remembers that everything he's doing is for his kids, Soren and Claudia, and the greater good of humanity. It really differed Viren from other characters that lost themselves almost immediately to the influence of power, and it's why I love him so much as a character. Now, if you don't already know, the seasons of Dragon Prince, like its counterpart, Avatar: The Last Airbender, are named after the different types of magics, and the season will concentrate more on that type of magic. Quick side note, some of the creators of Avatar: The Last Airbender actually created, the Dragon Prince, and you can see Avatar's influence in this show. Like I said previously, the seasons of the Dragon Prince are divided into magic types, like Avatar was divided into bending types. We can also see Avatar's influence in the family dynamic of Soren, Claudia, and Viren. Viren is like Philo Ozai if he actually care for his kids and his nation. If Philo Ozai didn't succumb to the temptations of power so easily. We can see Zuko's influence into Soren's character, as Soren, like Zuko, did terrible things in the hopes of winning his father's love. Claudia, on the other hand, explores what would happen if Azula went down a dark path, not for her daddy's love, but for her admiration of her father. Definitely gotta do a video on these comparisons. Now, back to what I was saying before. This final season of The Dragon Prince is going to cover dark magic, and I'll admit, I am very interested in dark magic and how the show will take it, especially after the reveal of the Cosmic Order. It's heavily implied that Erebos is the one that created dark magic, and he uses his connection to it in order to influence people. We can see this when Erebos possessed Callum. Callum previously had zero interaction with Erebos. Yeah, because he used dark magic once in the past, Erebos was able to possess him. Ultimately, I believe that Erebos is able to see the world through his connection to dark magic and his dark mages. Erebos might even be able to predict the futures of those connected to him via dark magic, but we have to wait for season 7 to see if that's indeed the case. I hope that you've seen just how scary Erebos is through these examples. From Callum, we can see that all it takes is using dark magic once to become ensnared in Erebos' grasp, with little hope for escape. Through Pharos, we learn that even if you don't practice dark magic, Erebos can still get you by one of his dark mages infecting you. Even scarier than this, as we see through Callum, and even if Erebos can't get to you, he can get to your loved ones. Even if you're not his enemy, once Erebos sets his eyes on you, there is no escape. Not only that, through Claudia's example, we know that while you might have the illusion that you have free will, you are in fact following the will of Erebos, and you don't even know it. The thought you don't actually have free will is absolutely terrifying. I don't know about you, but I get massive goosebumps thinking about this. All I can say is, thank God Erebos is a fictional character. Otherwise, dude, I don't know if I'm able to sleep at night. Whew. Alright, now we've got the scary Erebos stuff out the way. I want to talk about dark magic. Dark magic works by using magical creatures and their connections to different primal magics to create dark magic. And since dark magic isn't restricted by an arcanum, it offers almost unlimited possibilities. Not only that, but it seems that almost anyone can perform dark magic, as long as they're given the information to do it. We can see this in Captain Finnegan when he asked Callum how to perform the dark magic that killed Avazandum. I know not many people went crazy over this line, but it was huge lore-wise. Dark magic is not exclusive to humans. Elves can use it as well. No wonder humanity was banished from the rest of Xadia when they gained dark magic. Humanity, which was originally the weakest race, now had power. The reason that elves and dragons were horrified wasn't because they couldn't stand to see humanity's rise to power, but how dark magic gave power to its practitioners by taking magic power from others. It turned every single magical creature into prey. Now, if that wasn't bad enough, as we said previously, dark magic isn't exclusive, so it threatened to spread among the elves and other magic species. There's a reason that the Cosmic Order predicted that humanity gaining magic would be disastrous. It was dark magic. Ultimately, it became a self-fulfilling prophecy when they killed Erebos' daughter, and Erebos helped humanity gain dark magic. Humanity is the best vessel for dark magic because they were at the bottom of society. People that are struggling will always be more open to more drastic measures in order to change their destinies of being at the bottom. To be honest, the more I think about dark magic, the more I'm just surprised there aren't more dark mages, and that the world wasn't, just destroyed by the absolute total chaos that dark magic fully unleashed would cause. Honestly, I believe there are two reasons this didn't happen. First, the dragons and elves banished humanity from Xadia before dark magic could actually spread to their society. Second, I think Erebos deliberately restricted the spread of dark magic. He only had several dark mages at a single point in time, as even Erebos himself doesn't want total chaos, as it would be almost impossible to predict what will happen, even for someone as small as Erebos. Not only that, but the really powerful spells require rare ingredients. If there are lots of dark mages, then those rare ingredients would go extinct. We can see an example of this when Erebos helped Viren try and seize Zim and take the power of the world's most powerful creature. Viren had absolutely no idea that it was possible to actually permanently take another magical creature's power. One of the only weaknesses of Dark Mage is that they're limited by the materials they have on hand, but if you can permanently gain magic, this weakness is nullified and you become OP as shit. This really corroborates the statement I made previously that almost anything is possible with dark magic, if you're willing to pay that price, of course. If word of the spell spread, and all the archdragons would be killed, and since archdragons are reproduced very rarely, they go extinct. Erebos obviously didn't want this to happen, so he only told Viren about it when he needed him to have that power. There's another fact I actually found interesting. Zim is still a child, yet that's enough to get the powers of his dad. This really plays into the whole destiny viewpoint, that your role in society is determined by birth. Yet, through dark magic, one can actually change the role in society for another's. That's a very scary thought. In my opinion, The Dragon Prince is a story about destiny. Is your destiny set from the moment you're born? Or is destiny a book you write yourself? Can your destiny be changed? How can you change your destiny? Most characters in this series don't like the hand they were dealt with at birth, so they try and change it. They do this either by violence, or dark magic, or the so-called proper way, putting in untold, grueling hours of time and effort with absolutely no guarantee of success. Through Callum, our protagonist, we explore the proper way, even after his primal stone was broken, and Callum lost his ability to use magic. He didn't give up. However, when Rayla was in danger, and Callum felt absolutely powerless, he realized that while doing things the right way is good, time just simply isn't always on your side. And in order to save Rayla, Callum used dark magic for a quick fix. We see the after effects of this, and it is disastrous. Callum does eventually pull through, and he even used the opportunity dark magic gave him to understand the Sky Arcanum and change his destiny. This sequence he has within his head is honestly one of the best scenes in all the Dragon Prince, and I definitely want to do a video about it. What I find really interesting here is that Callum might have never understood the Sky Arcanum without using dark magic. After all, changing one's destiny is almost impossible to do. So a bit of underhanded means are honestly kind of necessary. However, Callum is able to actually resist the temptation to use dark magic again, and he learns the Sky Arcanum as a result of the opportunity dark magic gave him. What Callum shows us is that while underhand means can help you get ahead in life, you need to know when to stop, otherwise you'll end up like Viren. Viren used dark magic so much that he simply just lost his freedom. In my opinion, the moment when Viren decided to try and kill Avazandum for the murder of the wife of his best friend, King Harrow, is the moment where Viren simply bit off more than he could chew, and then he truly lost his freedom. He could have left well enough alone, as King Harrow himself, he wasn't too keen on the idea, because he did not want to mess up the peace they had. However, Viren was simply too confident in dark magic and convinced King Harrow otherwise. It wasn't until season 5 when he saw what Claudia went through to save him that he realized the errors of his ways. This is when Viren went through his own head sequence, similar to Callum's, which, by the way, this scene is also awesome, and I've got to do a video on it. It's after this that Viren realized that despite everything, he was and always has been a servant. Dark magic did help him change his destiny, but not to the one he wanted. Instead of following the will of fate, he instead followed the will of Erebos. When he died, Viren cried and said, "I am a servant." I absolutely loved how Viren's character arc ended, and I believe that his character arc had to end before the final season to set up Claudia's final character arc. We see through Viren the price of depending too much on dark magic, and I am excited to see how Claudia will turn out. Will Claudia meet a tragic end like Viren, or will she step away before it's too late like Callum did? To answer this question, we must look to Terry. Quick side note, I absolutely love Terry as a character. My favorite moment of his was in the beginning of season 6 when Claudia tried to push him away, after Viren left, but he stayed by her side no matter what. Definitely gotta do a video on Terry after Dragon Prince finishes. Terry, throughout the series, has acted as Claudia's emotional and moral anchor, and I'm honestly excited to see what happens in season 7. My guess is that Erebos will try to push Terry away so that Claudia will depend solely on him, or Erebos try to convert Terry like they did Claudia. I think that Erebos will have Claudia in danger, and the only way Terry can save Claudia is by doing dark magic. Given how Terry does believe in doing whatever it takes for his loved ones, as he was ultimately okay when Claudia did absolutely awful things in order to help her dad, I think that Terry will choose dark magic, and Claudia will see, like Varian did with her, the toll dark magic takes on its victims, and choose to walk away. Also, I believe that Callum will be in the scene as well. Of course, Terry could refuse, or Erebos somehow gets Terry to walk away from Claudia, and instead, we get Terry trying to convince Claudia to walk away from Erebos with the help of Callum and the others. I personally like the first option, but it could be a second option, or even something else altogether. Like I said previously, I think Callum will definitely be part of convincing Claudia to walk away from Erebos, as Callum represents the proper path, while Erebos represents the quick, violent path. How Claudia's story turns out is going to be another big part of Season 7. The other big part of Season 7, which I mentioned previously, is the relationship between Callum, Erebos, and the Cosmic Order. While there are of course other plotlines to follow, like for example, I'm also pretty excited to see what effect Ronan has on the plot and Rayla after being freed at the end of Season 6. Ultimately, I'll be following the two main plot lines I mentioned previously the most, and it'll be how the Dragon Prince wraps up these storylines that will determine how great of a show it is. I think if the Dragon Prince does it right, it'll surpass Avatar: Last Airbender. Damn man, I'm so excited for Season 7. If you made it all the way to the end of this video, I just have to say, thank you. Thank you for watching. This here's a list of all the videos I'm planning on making. If you have one you prefer, comment down below. As you can see on here, I do have an Arcane ending analysis on the way. I initially was going to post that one first, but it took way too long, and I wanted to make this video before the final season of Dragon Prince came out. This YouTube thing, it's something I do on the side, while I work my actual full-time job, so videos, they'll take longer. I'll probably do at least 2 videos a week, with at least one being an analysis video like this one. If you like my content, then you'll like, comment, and subscribe. I actually might be able to make this YouTube thing a full-time job, which would be awesome, as honestly I had a lot of fun making this video. Although I'll admit the editing part is a bitch, and I'm still not very good at it.
Alright, now at the end of my videos, I always like to, I like to laugh. And one of the things that helps me laugh a lot is trying to emulate One Piece laughs. So I kind of got this little spinner thing. This is how I want to do all my videos. Just good to laugh once in a while, especially in these times. Let's see what I'm doing today. Alright. Oh, Foxy. Alright. Yeah, in case this is One Piece. Foxy from One Piece. Alright. Let's find where Foxy is. There we go. Oh, I gotta be Alright, that's it.